Hello and welcome to another episode here on the Minecraft modded Let's Play. Today we are starting off inside of our main base, and it has been a little bit emptied out because all the shulker boxes that used to be here are gone, basically. And what's happened is that I finally got myself a storage system, and I'm going to show you a little bit of it because it's not the main focus for this episode, but I really want to show it. So here underneath this we have hoppers that picks up the items, as you saw there when I pushed in the bones, and I don't have anything else to throw in there. But gets picked up by hoppers and it gets pushed into the storage system down below, and I'm going to show what's on the upside there in a moment. But we're going to start here where the main automated storage system is, and as you saw there we have the hoppers that's down below the trapdoors, and of course they are connected to this hopper chain that gets connected to the system. And it's a regular system, and I haven't done anything to it in decoration wise or something like that. I think I'm going to have a sort of wall here that maybe we can make something out of. Not all of it have labels yet either, but that's because I don't have anything in excess. I only have for example, here we have 8 orange concrete because I did it very easily to get just one color of each time, so I could put it in here so it gets filled up. At the end I have chests that are not filled with anything, and that's where some of the stuff has happened that I haven't gotten into my storage system. So chests and apparently terracotta and shulker boxes, of course. So sometimes when I'm maybe mistakenly or something happens get into the system, they get stored in here. And not all items can of course be stored inside of the automated stuff, so we also have a manual storage system here, and it's not finished as of yet because we have a couple of more shulker boxes to go through with some items and so forth, so and label everything. But I've tried to do the best that I have with all the items, and to get space, because I found that this chest looked very nice. It looked a little bit like it could belong on a boat, so to get them to work and not use the storage mod, because then they would change in appearance. I didn't want that. I wanted them to have the wood color. I decided to do this. So I have in each chest put in different types. In this chest we have wood types, and then I have for each wood type I have a shulker box to that wood type. So it's going to be good, and it saves up a lot of space. None of this, just this first shulker box would have filled up in almost everything, and we wouldn't have any more place for anything else. So that's one thing to save space, and of course if I need to, I could put in the storage mod and make an upgrade to this, maybe make it a iron chest or a gold chest or even diamond chest, because I decided to try and get a lot of diamonds to compensate for all the diamond chests down there. And I got a lot of upgrades, so I have a full shulker box of them and a little bit more. So if I want in the future to make something large with diamond chests to get a lot of storage, then I have that. But yeah, this is the manual storage, and like I've said, it's not finished yet, but I wanted to get on with today's episode because this storage system has taken a lot of time, and I didn't want to wait for making an episode, so it's going to be a very easy one today, and maybe not the largest project, but it's going to be good, so hopefully I can get this episode out on time. And here we have our Wandering Trader, and yeah, I put in a mod to the Wandering Trader. If you have watched my regular series, I have villagers that I can trade mini blocks with. According to, it's the same as on the Hermitcraft server. But now they have changed up that, so instead of the villagers, we have the Wandering Trader that are trading all these mini blocks, and he can also trade villager heads actually, but player heads I mean, but I haven't chosen to get that. He of course retains everything like he usually does with all the regular things, but we can also exchange it for mini blocks, which I found I can maybe use sometime. And what you need is an emerald and one type of the block that you want. I have yet to trade with him for these things because I haven't found anything that I want yet. So yeah, back to this time thing, which is a small model. I'm going to build it out a little bit further, so it's going to go, I think it's around, either it's 16 or it's 32 blocks. I don't remember exactly, but I think it's 16. Maybe. If it's 32, it's 32. But yeah. And this is a sugarcane farm, as you probably have learned from the title of this episode. But I'm going to explain it a little bit in a short while, and then I'm going to cut down to a time lapse and show you how to build the large scale of it. So first things first, we have the sand here. That's where our sugarcane is going to grow. We're going to have water placed on top of this glass block, and of course it's going to be a long row of glass here, so we can have water on each block. Sugarcane grows very easily, and then it grows, the piston is there, and then we have an observer. And observer of course detects the sugarcane and sends a signal to the piston that again then breaks the sugarcane. That is going to trigger all the redstone back here, where it's going to send a signal that's going to go around here in a sort of U shape down to somewhere around here, where it's going to send off a hopper minecart that's going to go on the rails here and pick all the sugarcanes up. I'm going to have to go to sleep a little bit quick, so bear with me while I take a small break in this explanation. And this of course is going to be mirrored on the other side, so this is just one half of it. I'm going to mirror it on this side, and the sand is going to be on the same place here, around here, so we can make use of the same water source. Yeah, we have a lot of mobs here. I hope that they don't bother us too much, at least a lot of creepers, but yeah. So what more of the redstone here, and it's very crude redstone because I've actually done this for myself for once, so it's not I haven't followed a tutorial or anything. I've just tried to make this as I wanted to. So I made this in creative first, and then I'm going to build it on here. But we have two sort of systems, or maybe three you can almost say, that works in tandem here. And the first one is of course that we have this observer, and that's the trigger observer, if you will. Once it gets do stuff, then it sends signals. And for the first one here, and I've only made this circuit different to each other because I don't want the observers to send a signal. I could have, of course, used the easy way, send redstone dust on all of these blocks and all the green ones that's going to go over here, and then just waited, and when one observer triggers, it triggers all this stuff, and then it would also have triggered all the pistons down below. And I didn't want that, because I want this farm to be a bit of an efficient farm. So instead I've decided to make sort of these modules. So we have one here, and once this triggers, it's only going to trigger that piston. If this one triggers, it's going to only trigger that piston. So it's going to be efficient, because then it only triggers once that sugarcane is already 2 or 3 tall and gets pushed off by 2. So it's going to be the maximum effect I can get. Yeah, I heard something, but I don't know what that was. But yeah, so back to this. That's why we have different components here, and of course it's going to be copied. So this first circuit is going to copy over on this side, this circuit over on the other side of that, and so forth. But first one here, we have an repeater that sends a signal, sends it to the observer here. And now it gets split up a little bit, because once that triggers, it's going to go both ways. So that one triggers there and sends a signal to redstone that's on top of these 2 blocks. That in case of this, it gets triggers this block and triggers the piston to make it all work. But then we need to get a signal that's going to go into the minecart. And that's the rest of the redstone here. So here we have that also gets triggered by redstone dust that's on top of here, and sends a signal that's going to go, like I said, down here and go to the minecart. That's the first part. Then we have the second one here, the second module, if you will, and we have the same. This triggered, redstone dust gets pushed in here, triggers that observer, and that observer sends all of the stuff here. And this is placed so this redstone dust that's in between these 2 triggers that piston. So very easy, not the most compact redstone, I think. I could probably do something more compacted, but I don't have the knowledge for that. So it's going to be this large piece of redstone, but it's going to do its purpose. So that's the most important thing. And it's very nice, I think, to make it for myself for once and not follow a tutorial. So this is what I'm going to be building. I'm going to replicate this first on this side, a couple of blocks over, and then on the other side, of course. And that's going to be made in the form of a time lapse, so you can follow along if you will, and we'll see each other after that. welcome back. The farm is finished. I've been waiting here looking at the sugarcane and see if it is actually working. It works on my creative world, but we need to make it work here on the regular world as well. And it seems to be waiting. All of the sugarcane has gone up to 2 blocks high, but now they are waiting, and it seems like I'm looking, so the sugarcane don't want to grow. But yeah, while we are waiting for the sugarcane to actually start and show us the farm, I'm going to explain the small part that's left. I've already explained all the redstone path here where we're going to farm the everything, but I've not explained this part here. And it's of course mirrored on the other side. I had to change this side up a little bit because I had forgotten to put in a repeater up there that's going to send a signal down here. So it looked a little bit different than from the time lapse, maybe because I've changed up that so it's symmetrical to this side. But what's happened here is that the same as I explained before the time lapse, every signal that gets transferred to this repeater, and then the signal goes into this powered rail here under the minecart, and when that powered rail is powered, then it sends a signal that gets the minecart to go away and collect everything. But what I've also put in here is a couple of repeaters with the full delay on, and the reason for that being is because if we would have just regular redstone or maybe just repeaters on regular delay, then or no delay at all at that point, then the signal would be a little bit too weak and a bit too short, so the minecart wouldn't have enough momentum and enough speed to get off the starting platform and go over here. And now we can see that it worked, and there it off. So that's why I have my repeaters here to make the signal be a little bit longer on the rail here, so the minecart gets its way to go all the way there. And we can see that it picked up 2 of sugarcane, and that's the maximum for one of these modules to access. So that's the farm finished, the actual farm. But we are not finished with the episode, because this farm, while it's symmetrical and very nice in that, we need to make it a little bit nicer by, for example, having building that goes around this. I've already thought about where to place everything and so forth, so it's going to be a second time lapse in this episode where I'll build the building that goes around this place as well to hide the redstone a little bit. We'll see each other after that time lapse. Welcome back from that second time lapse once again, and yeah, we are finished with today's project. The sugarcane farm is done and complete with design and all. And while during the time that I have been working on the stuff around here, so everything in the building and a little bit of lightning as well that I put in to prevent mob spawning, we've gotten 64 plus 30 sugarcane. So maybe not the most efficient farm, but we are of course working with growing stuff and they take some time. So I'm really happy about it. I see now that we have a little bit of a problem with the sugarcane landing on top of the observer there, but that's easily fixed. We can just put blocks above the observers to prevent that from happening. But yeah, and we have also gotten something to happen here, but that's also pretty easily fixed. So yeah, you see, not the most best farm maybe, but it works. So for the most part, have to keep a little bit of an eye on it to see if it needs maybe a little bit further delay here or something before we do something else. But yeah, farm is finished, and that's going to be today's episode. So I turn to you, and I will hope that you have enjoyed it to begin with. If you did, consider subscribing to my channel so you don't miss future episodes. Otherwise, you can also just like and comment on the video and tell me about it. Otherwise, we are going to say goodbye for now.